Hey, what's going on, everybody?
What's up? Thinking Game Podcast. What episode are we on?
36.
36. We moving on up.
This podcast, we're going to talk about the common struggle from kids that grew up in the inner city in Southwest. You know, sometimes as parents, because we kind of in that middle part, growing up with parents, and now we are parents, you know, the struggle that your kids go through, you may think it's the same as you, but it's actually different a little bit.
Yeah, it's a lot different.
And that's what we're going to talk about today, common struggle and opportunity. So what you think about this so far before we get into the overview?
You know, really, the overview, it's like totally different. Like, it feels like we're in the same boat as our kids, but we're kind of doing a little bit better, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like we're not like, because when I was younger, it was really like low income, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, it didn't feel like it when I was a kid.
Well, they don't tell you
I mean?
that, though. They don't
Exactly.
say, son, we're living in a low income environment, so it's going to be a little different. You don't get those kind of talks.
And then the morals in your house is different between the morals outside.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You're low income, and you act like a certain way in the house, but your neighbors are low income too, and this is like every man for his slip. Yeah, it's lawless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they
Just
will
survive.
run up in your house. You know what I mean? Being scamming, still trying to steal your coat and wear it in front of you. Like why would they do that? Like, or you see them steal a coat and they like, it wasn't a prank. They wearing that coat. Like they stole that coat to stay warm.
Right.
You know what I mean? They wear it in the projects, but they don't wear it to school because they stole that coat from another kid. And seeing a child adapt those the survival instincts, you know what I mean? You don't know it when you're into it, but when I think about it now, like that's something that my son doesn't have to deal with.
Yeah.
But he still has struggles and difficulties in his own right, but he doesn't have that survival or struggle,
for sure,
inner city type of things like maybe I had to deal with when I was younger.
So on this podcast, we're going to talk about, like I said, the common struggle, living in the inner city, and what opportunities are present in the inner city. That's a good one. Going right into the first question, common struggle. What is a common struggle most kids from Southwest deal with?
Really, the first one, you know what I mean? Basic needs getting met. You know, food, clothes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And things like that.
Yeah.
Being safe, you know what I mean? Being supervised, you know what I mean? Most of the time, you have, you know, parents, you know, hopefully 2 parents, maybe 1, they got to be at work.
Right.
You got to be at school.
Mm-hmm.
You know, eating after school.
And, you know, let's pause, like, take away, if you just take away the moral aspect of why you want to be married and have kids, just let's look at it from a logical standpoint.
Like business, assets, liabilities,
when you
advantages.
When you want to have a kid and you're not committed, you're just a single parent, logically looking at that, that's why we say you want to have a partner, because when you're doing it by yourself, logically, you be in situations like this, it's a struggle because you got to work 40 hours a week. You got to keep up with kids' school activities and stuff like that. We're not talking about extracurricular activities. We just talking about school progress report, teacher conferences, you know what I'm saying, all that stuff, you know what I'm saying. It's keeping up with, like I say, food and clothes, because your kids grow. One minute they this tall, the next minute now their pants don't fit no more. You got to keep up with that. Shoes, take them places. Then can you take off work to take them places? You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about we're not even talking about more. We're just talking about the struggle of raising the kid by yourself. Definitely not easy. I grew up in a single parent house, so I can tell you for a fact that my mom, it wasn't easy, man. It was crazy.
You know what I mean? You gotta. School starts 7 to 3, maybe.
You got to get up around 6 or 7 to go to school and get there at 8 because you got to get on the school bus.
And then most jobs, 6:30 to 3, or maybe
Yeah.
9 to 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If
So
9 to 5 is when you're doing pretty good.
yeah,
When you working Walmart and stuff
The
like
shift
that,
work,
yeah, you
6:30 to 3.
They work off 3 shifts, right?
yeah.
Morning, afternoon, and graveyard. You know what I'm saying?
So how you gonna get your kids to school when school start at 7 or 8 or
Right.
7:30, and you gotta be at work 6:30, no exceptions,
Exactly.
and it's just you. So you know what I mean? There's some kind of pre-care after. I mean, I don't know how you. Maybe your grandma watching it. You know,
Boy.
your children, and their children need to be supervised, like basically 24/7.
Yeah, because one of the first points I have is if you're not supervised 24/7, you just outside hanging around in the neighborhood where you at. Most kids fall into different categories. One of them, some kids pick the streets. Like even in those surroundings where everybody doing street stuff, how do you operate? How can you be? Because you're not programmed to go against the grain. Naturally, you want to go with what everybody else is doing. It's like a different kind of person to say, I'm not doing it, I'm going to go against the grain. But be outside with your surroundings, everybody choosing the streets.
And see, you know, we talking about how easy or like how an individual you are.
Right.
Like in nature, you want to go with the flow. You don't want to
Right.
stand down. You're not strong enough as a child.
Right.
Or, you know what I mean?
You're not.
As a fully matured male, sometimes even females grown or not strong enough to stand alone,
Right.
you know what I mean, like physically. You know what I
Right.
mean? If the stuff go wrong, you know what
Boy.
I mean? Can you fight 3 people?
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you're in a situation where you're a kid. You need a group. Like, you know what I mean? And your parent is at work trying
Right.
to take care of you. You know what I
Right.
mean? Trying to get you some food. So who do you look up to? You know what I
Right.
mean? You need to be in a group to be protected.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? That divide and conquer. You don't want to be that one that's by yourself. So
Right.
you look up to an OG maybe. You know what I mean? And he sets you up with some more like-minded kids, and you know they look after you.
And see here, and see the thing is, because I know we moved around a couple of places when we was younger, but I was in situations like that where I was by myself, like because you move from different schools, so kids come at you different. Like it's power in numbers,
Yeah.
and like it's just. I want to say, was it bullying or was it just more because I was isolated? I didn't mind being an isolated person, but sometimes you still get people try you just to see. You know what I'm saying?
They in
But
a
then
group.
it don't fight you 1-on-1. They
No.
end up jumping you. You know what I'm saying? Then it's like, what do you do at that point? You know what I'm saying? But you got to have enough gall to say, you know what? I'm not gonna let this break me. It's just because I'm by myself. I don't have a group that I'm with because I'm new here. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't have those conversations, how do you? Like, I had to get to that point mentally in my head. You know what I'm saying?
And nobody, you know, tells you that, and nobody
Yeah.
tells you what is going to happen. This is going to happen when you're 4. That's going to happen when you're 8, 9, 15, or 12.
Because when you keep defending yourself, you end up almost actually becoming like it's crazy. You guys are becoming like them. You know what I'm saying? It's weird.
Yeah.
Because
And
you
then-
end up fighting, and you end up, and that's why I always like never really wanted to explore the violent side of me because I know it's there, but I had to fight against it because I think if I go there, I ain't gonna want to come back. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing I had to battle. You know what I'm saying? Growing up.
And it's, you know, staying dangerous or knowing you have the capacity, you know
Right.
what I mean, to defend yourself. Even as a peaceful man,
Right.
you have to have that capacity to protect your family. You know what I
Right.
mean? Your wife or your kids, they
But
have
see,
to
that's
know.
the thing, like protecting your family. But when you don't have a family, you're a teenager. You're just looking at it as, you know what I'm saying, you're trying to reputation. But the same reputation could take you to a whole nother journey that you don't want to go down. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Well,
And
yeah,
that-
and
see,
that-
that's the thing, how to
yeah.
quantify that. You know what I'm saying?
You know, and that's another thing too. Like when you are a loner and you know you end up fighting, you know what I mean. People start to befriend you because you know your reputation that you
Right.
developed.
Right.
You know what I mean, and that's another way you can become the person, the people you're defending
Man.
yourself against.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a lot. It's very psychological. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
definitely very
So they
psychological.
approach you as a group.
Mm-hmm.
And the threat of being attacked,
Right.
they kind of use that. Like they don't beat you up every day.
Right.
They just like say, they hint at, you know what I mean. If you get out of line, we'll jump you. The threat of assumed violence.
Right.
kind of will paralyze you in a situation. You know what I mean?
Because you don't know, the kids don't know. You can't say no and walk away. But see, there's another thing too, right? We're talking like influence, peer pressure, stuff like that. A lot of times people don't want to say no and walk away because they're worried about what people going to think of them. If I say no, I'm going to be weak, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that, you know what I'm saying? But when you're young, it's like you can't think past, like, you know what, I'm not going to be around these dudes forever, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I just got to deal with these dudes probably for like, you know, the next 5 or 10 years or whatever circumstance or surroundings that we're in. Because most of the time, when you get out of high school, you go into where you're most comfortable anyway. You're not even going to be.
It's your truth, yeah.
Exactly, you know what I'm saying? So, but sometimes when you don't have control on where you're going to go to school at. You don't have control on where you're surrounded at. You don't have control that you got to ride the school bus, you know what I'm saying? You might ride the school bus with, it's like WWF Survivor Series, man. And you ain't even on it, but it's just what it is, man. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? It is, sometimes
I survived a lot of school bus rides,
man,
you know what I mean?
Man.
And I'm kind of, it molded my character, you know what I mean? It made me adjust to certain situations. But I don't think I want my son to go through that.
No, my kids not riding the school bus. Like, I will take them. It's worth the sacrifice. It's worth it. The peace of mind.
You know what I mean? It's like, it gave me skills. It made me tough.
But not everybody.
But the trauma is
you're like an outlier, though.
Yeah, and I mean, that could really mess him up on the long run. See,
it's like a two-sided fence kind of thing, right? You can either mess him up the bad way or mess him up the good way. Yeah, he can mess him up the bad way, like he could, like, you know, take him down through. That could be demoralizing, or he could turn into Chung Lee off of Bloodsport. He demoralizing everybody because he defended himself. It's like a weird thing, and I don't think sometimes parents or like teachers and stuff, I don't think they fully understand. Like when I went, did you go to Dunbar in 7th grade? You didn't go to Dunbar, did you?
I was in Cloverdale by myself,
bro. When I went to Dunbar, like elementary, okay, you know it wasn't that bad, right? Elementary, yeah, because I just went to Chico. I think I went to Chico like 5th, 6th grade. It was still kind of new. It wasn't that bad, dude. Dunbar. This was the game, you know, this 7th grade, like 90, I think 90 something. This was right after Came Back to Little Rock, I think came out, bro. Yeah. You know how big Dunbar was when you came, right? So 7th grade, 8th and 9th graders, you know what I'm saying, they in it. I mean, it's real. You're not trying to be in that stuff, but that's what you're around, you know what I'm saying? Like, I probably should have went to Pulaski Heights or something like that. But I did. Very humbling experience, though, because you don't fit in, and if you try to fit in, I say, what are you doing? This is not you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You a goofy dude. I said, oh, you know what? That's fine. I'll be a goofy dude. That will keep me, because I don't like being told what to do. I'm not fit to be, you know, somebody fit to make me into a crash dummy. But the school was so big, the teachers couldn't have eyes everywhere. Yeah, so you can run into a blind spot just walking to class. It ain't no teachers. They in class doing something, but it's 5 dudes right there. They talking. They just see you walking down the hallway. You look like food on the menu, man.
Locker position can get you really messed up. Yeah. Like, if you have a lot, you're just a normal, like,
most kids don't even use their lockers, bro.
And your locker
have everything in your backpack.
Exactly. Your locker's in a blind spot down the hall.
Oh, man. And it's dark, too. Ain't no lights.
No dark in the certain spots, you know what I mean? And you got to go there every day, you know what I mean? With, I just keep my backpack.
Boy.
And they started making the teachers in between periods
stand outside
there, you know what I mean? Because
it's still some blind spots even within that, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, shout out to Mr. Burgess, man. But then he was like 8th or 9th grade, but 7th grade was rough, bro, because, man, that gang stuff was crazy, man. Yeah. We was right down the street from like every neighborhood. It's like we was in the middle. You got Wolf Street. You got all these
like our street was like right there.
Wolf Street.
Wolf
oh, man. The good old days. Man. Boy, the good old days. So,
man, it's like, I don't, like, man, my, the kids are surviving. The difference between elementary and junior high in that times were so, like, you know, like crazy. Like, my, the stuff like, my son's trying to make friends at school and stuff like that. You know what I mean? He was, You know, my son kind of honest. You know what I mean? And,
But my son is too honest almost.
Boy, it's like, hey, y'all want to be friends? Like, you know, okay. So.
Not trying to sound like the old man back.
Back in my day.
I'm going to tell you a story now. But yeah, and then another thing you think about is growing up, most kids financial decisions, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're not taught a financial mindset or a millionaire mindset. Like people think about Bill Gates. I want to be Bill Gates, but it's like before you get to Bill Gates, you have to get to thousands first.
Yeah.
Then 10,000, then 100,000, then a million, then a billion. You don't go from 0 to a billion. That's just not. Unless you inherited some money or you had some kind of great idea, which is really hard because everybody got great ideas. So being taught, what you can afford, what does I can afford that mean? Because a lot of times, we go get a new car because you say I can afford the payments, but you can't afford the maintenance though.
Yeah.
Maintenance. Oil changes are free, but you need a front end alignment. The warranty don't cover that, but can you pay for that?
You know what I mean?
Outside of paying your car note and everything else.
The replacing 4 tires. You know what I mean?
Boy,
at the time, like that.
That ain't covered under warranty.
You know what I mean? And and you wanted the, just the really upgraded trim. It's not much, but instead of having 17-inch rims, they got the 18-inch rims, and now you have to buy a sports performance tire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No
And that's
profile,
$100
yes,
or $200 more.
Tire.
A tire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
So you're looking at $800 for a set of tires.
Or like I'm gonna get I'm gonna get just the front tires, or I'm gonna get one tire at a time. Now you got ball tires.
Boy.
You know what I mean? And it's rain and things like that. Now you're trying to make those decisions on which tire to get first.
That's true.
You know what I mean? And you gotta ask yourself the question: really, could I afford that? You know what I mean? Everything comes with something.
It does.
A package or new insurance. You know what I mean?
Man.
You gotta look at all that. You know what I mean?
Recurring bills, adding recurring bills, Utilities are recurring. They come every month.
Yep.
You get a mortgage, that comes every month.
Yeah.
Then you start stacking on top of that. You start getting credit cards. Then you pay that. They can come every month. Can you afford to use credit cards? Just because the credit limit is $1,000, that don't mean you have to run through that whole $1,000. Use that whole $1,000 because can you pay that back with your payroll check because you got all this other stuff you're paying?
And you know what I mean? The minimum balance payments. You know what I mean? You don't want to think that because you'll be paying that forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You pay double.
Yeah, it's a discipline.
Triple that amount. You got to think about when you're a credit card. That's going to be. You're turning a one-time purchase into a monthly payment.
Right.
Basically, that's what you're doing if you can't afford that.
Right.
It's like you build your own layaway.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what you're basically doing.
Right.
Something if you couldn't buy it, you know what I mean, right now, you just made it a monthly thing.
And then it's probably going to cover another question, but another thing is vices. I think a lot of teachers, they don't understand when these kids go home. They're not living on Reading Rainbow Street. You know what I'm saying? They're not living on Sesame Street. Yeah. They probably live on 65th Street. And there's not it's not the Reading Rainbow when people out there reading books.
You wear the wrong colors.
Yeah. It ain't Schoolhouse Rock where they talking about conjunctions and verbs and adjectives. It ain't
some other rocks.
So not everybody's a thug. Not everybody's doing violence. But there's other things. Gambling. Rest in peace to Offset. Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
Think about the kids. I'm trying to tell kids it's like vices. When you make a decision to do something, it's either going to increase a chance or decrease a chance. Think about. We hear about these things. You never went there, but gambling house, right?
Yeah.
Hey man, we going to the gambling house. You want to go? Absolutely not.
And we were talking about that thing, just being around certain stuff.
Yeah. You increase your chances. I mean, it go from 30% chance to a 50% chance just by walking to the vicinity of it.
Or like we said, riding with somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With this person in my car.
Yeah.
I got I'm 20 times more likely to get shot at because he's You know,
Yeah.
always
I'm looking
be
at
from
about an
somebody.
80% chance to get shot at.
You know what I mean? And being around certain
Gambling
stuff.
house, shooting dice. The chances of somebody arguing and shooting or arguing and something happening, very high chance. Because you're talking about money involved, ego involved, because you're losing.
Yep.
And then the other person, hitting that back door little Jones, you taking your money, man, give me that money.
And they not going
One took all your money, boy. You gonna go home, boy. You gonna be hurt.
Your feelings, you know what I mean?
Like, man, who you talking to, man? It's like, dude, you lost, man. You gotta just come with it. But not everybody can take it. Lost though.
You know what I mean? Because it's still money.
Yeah, it is still money.
They lost their rent money. You know what I mean? And they gotta face their children and baby mama. That's a decision they made that was faulty.
Boy.
But now they still angry at you because you won the game of chance.
Right. And another vice,
and
right?
And you just being around that. Now
Right.
you don't. I wasn't even gambling.
Right. And then another vice, it's actually legal, but lottery tickets.
Yep.
I've been in the gas station, and I'm just finna get some gas, spend $50, to fill a tank up. This person holding up the line, getting every lottery ticket, it seemed like in the thing. Let me get the $5, let me get the $10, let me get the $20, and let me get 5 more $2. It's like, dude, how many lottery tickets scratch offs you gonna get, man? You know what I'm saying?
And I don't think. I mean, I think that's the thrill seeking, like people who go to casinos or whatever. Like, he just counted up like $100. That's 2 tanks of gas.
Boy.
That's a phone bill.
Yeah. Let's take your $50. Take your family out to eat.
Yeah, and people don't. Everything is okay, like in moderation. You get a $1 scratch off, all right. But people don't do that.
But see, that's the thing.
They got 100. Dude spent the $50. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trying to, and he probably spends it annually, right? Like every week. Right. You know what I mean? He goes in there and he invests that money in a dream.
And see, here's the thing: we're talking about increasing and decreasing chances. Sometimes you can do that one thing, and it can increase the chance of you becoming dependent on it. Like, that's what you got to do. You know what I'm saying?
But see, he thinks it's
one scratch off. Sometimes it just depends on your personality. Something like this, talking about the addiction personality.
Oh, yeah,
see, we don't even have those conversations as kids. Like, that one scratch off can lead to you spending $500 annually on lottery tickets.
Yeah.
And
it just costs $1 to get in.
Your ego just won't allow you to say, you know what, I shouldn't even did that scratch. I should just I can't handle that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Think about drinking, right? Some people, they say they have that addiction personality, right? Like if it runs in your family, you got a family, alcoholics, you probably the chances of you, the chances of you getting addicted probably is higher than the average person because it runs in your family. It could be genetics. I don't know. That's been disputed, but most people they get alcohol. That's one of the things they contribute is that it ran in their family as far as addiction, but the chances it increases. You go buy a Coke 45 or a Deuce. That one Deuce, man. Take you on a tornado of addiction.
Gave me a headache
a 22-ounce can of beer about that tall. You tried it just a sip, and that unlocked the genetic code. You went from a 30% chance to about an 80-90% chance. Now you're gonna keep wanting beer. You know what I'm saying? It happens just like that. You know what I'm saying? One sip.
They think that's going to increase the chances of them having fun. Right. That lottery ticket is going to increase my chances of being a millionaire. So these are positive things to them. That's not their perception is not a bad thing. You know what I mean? I could be rich or I could be fun. Cigarettes. People tell you all the time they're highly addictive.
On the pack, it said it causes cancer.
You 20 years old, 25 years old, and you just start smoking cigarettes. You're an adult, and you thought that was a good idea. Increases your chance of cancer, your money.
See, that's another thing. Some people
gives you a monthly bill, and they're highly addictive.
Some people used to think the perception of smoking cigarettes was cool, though.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've had family members, bro, they had lung cancer and died from it. Like, when you see that kind of stuff, it's like, wow, there's no way I'm even trying. It's not even, it's pointless.
Cigarettes to me, I mean, this is I'm not vilifying cigarette smokers or anything like that. The lung cancer thing like hits me, asthma, bronchitis. It hits me like that crackhead thing.
Yeah.
Like I see, this is the results of doing this.
Definitely.
Like smoking, lung cancer. I don't want that.
Yeah.
Smoking crack will have me doing these things.
It will.
No, I'm good. I'm good on that. I don't like, you know what I mean? I seen people have fun on alcohol. You know what I mean? Oh, I had a drink. You know what I mean? It's not for me. You know what I mean? It's not something I'm doing every day. Okay, but no, cigarettes, crack.
Yeah. We seen people drink though, and they're in jail for 15 years.
Yes, exactly. So
One situation.
You don't want to. You know
People
what I mean?
be talking about
Keep trying it.
people talking about that's extreme, but it happens. You could drink, do something crazy. Next thing you know, you're doing 15 years in jail.
You driving. You know you killed a kid. You you know what I mean? You know I mean I had friends.
You do impaired the shit. Like when I was a kid, we used to go to one of my relatives' house. Rest in peace, Bunny. She was a cool woman, but dude used to come over there. He told us he was drunk one time. You know, University over there by Broadmoor, or going past Euler. That hill right there. He had like a cutlass. He said that he was drunk one night. And he said he just wanted to just nail it right there, right before he got up the hill. And he did. And he said his car went airborne and it landed nose. And he just sat in the middle of the street. And it's like, dude, it's this kind of stuff happens though. It's just this stuff don't get reported all the time, but it had people do crazy stuff, man.
And now he's just fixing his car.
Because you don't have that. It's like when you're drunk, you don't have that mechanism to say, nah, that's not a good idea. It's almost like sometimes like whatever pops in your head could be a good idea. You know what I'm saying? Until you come down off of it, like, what did I just do? I just destroyed my car.
Yeah, and I have like these bills and these payments, and I can't get to work because I thought it would be cool.
And then another thing, I think everybody deals with this, whether you're a thug, not a thug, let me not say thug, but whether you're in the streets. Because it's like every kid make choices, right? When you start getting of age, like 16, 17, you got some people pick the streets. Some people, they stay with education. And it's other things in the street other than violence. But, some people do credit card fraud. They do like stuff like that, forgery. Mm-hmm. And then another thing everybody deals with dudes is dealing with women. You're not taught how to deal with women properly. Or women are not taught how to deal with men properly. You know what I'm saying? You
can use love as sometimes love can be a vice. You know
as
what I mean?
Leverage.
Women,
use it as leverage.
You know what I mean?
Is that love though?
No, I mean love and they said like you like high off of it. You know what I mean? Now manipulate.
Is that lust or love though?
No, I mean I don't know. I mean what that person experienced, like they loved being loved, whatever. You know what I mean? Well, they maybe not in love with the person, but they love people doing whatever their vice is. You know what I mean? Like going to the strip club. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Going to the massage parlors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Being addicted to courtship or being addicted to attention.
That's one thing to addict to attention. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's the thing. You're not taught that attention in different ways it ain't the best attention that you want, because it's gonna give you you're not gonna get the results that you think you're gonna get. You want to have that attention. You want to be a prey out there in the world for the predators. Go right on ahead and see what happens. They're gonna get you. It's just how it works. I was just thinking about something. It just forgot it just that fast. Selling dreams, right? I know for me it wasn't to getting the girl. It was more like this person believed what I'm telling them, man. I got addicted to that, man. I ain't gonna lie, I'm just being honest. Like, 18 to 25? Yeah, it's like this girl really she really believe I like her. Like, I don't. But she do. For some reason, she does. And I never even said it. It's just because I took her to Cold Stone, man. She think I like her. I just took her to Cold Stone because I don't feel like spending the money. And I know it's something different. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? Like, what were you selling?
Huh?
What were you selling? The idea.
It just depends on the person. It's kind of like it's kind of like basketball, right? The game plan. It just depends on the person, and that's how weird I was. Like, depending on the person. Like some girls that have a stronger personality, you have to sell them that. you have to make them feel like they're in charge. That don't mean they are in charge. 'Cause you can stop it at any time.
Yeah.
But to get them to feel like they're in charge, but really they're not in charge. It's just you allowing them to feel like that until it get to a point where you say, okay, enough's enough.
Yeah, well, you know.
But they never get to that point. The dream is selling itself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know, you can take
Kids,
your talent.
don't do that. Don't try.
Take
Don't
your
do
talents
that.
to South Beach. You know?
Yeah, that's what I had to do. I had to take my talent to South Beach and apply that to the corporate world, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? People are dealing with their marriages like that. You know what I mean? Managing the personalities. You know what I mean?
You have to manage personality. I don't want to sell my wife a dream, but I stopped doing it when I right before I got married. I just made the decision, just not the way to go, because I was headed down the path that is you ever get to a point where it's like, okay, you either gonna go to the next level or this is just go ahead and just take it. You go ahead and stop right now, because if you go to this next level, it probably ain't no coming back. And that's kind of where I got to. It's like, and I was like, you know what? I don't know if I want to go there, because I don't want to have multiple kids by multiple women. I don't want to deal with the child support services.
Boy.
Because the thing about living in a low-income environment, you get to see,
exactly.
if you got your eyes open, you get to see all of that stuff.
Yep.
You get to see the dude who ain't paying child support, and he go to jail because he ain't pay child support. Now you really can't pay it. So now it's almost like you never really get ahead, because
you can't, yeah.
you know, made some tough decisions when you was younger, and it kind of you can make your own uphill battles through decisions if you can be honest with yourself. I know I had to be honest with myself.
So not controlling your vices, you know what I mean, can lead you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We all see, like, you know what I mean? He used to have a Cutlass, man,
Boy.
on 24s, and now he just got child support.
Boy.
And, you know.
Food could be advice, right?
Oh, boy.
Man, I know when I was younger, man, eat with the best of them, man.
Boy.
And I was watching Man vs. Food. I was like, man, I was doing this, man. I was 16, man. I could have done that. Can't do it now.
Boy.
Man.
Like, bad habits.
Oh, boy.
Or like a money. It's like a account, a savings account with negative stuff.
Yeah.
It always can get worse.
Oh,
you know
boy.
what I mean? You keep
Always.
eating.
Boy.
You think you was 180 pounds in high school. Now you 200.
Boy.
210.
Man.
250.
Yeah.
280.
Quick.
310.
How'd I get here?
350.
Yeah.
410 pounds.
Sound like an auction. Gotta get a 210, gotta get a 210, gotta get a 210, gotta get a 210.
Matter of fact, it gets easier the heavier you get. And now you're on your reality show, My 600-Pound Life. And then body positivity is telling you, man, hey, you're a man, you're 410 pounds, you're just a big guy. What?
Not healthy.
You play for the NFL?
Yeah, you play D tackle?
Like Aaron Donald ain't 400 pounds.
So ain't.
You know what I mean? And
he a solid, what, 3? Think he about a solid 3?
Man,
293?
Look, man, he a lean 275, maybe 280.
Yeah, 280.
I mean, that's a big, strong man.
Big dude, yeah, he working all the time, yeah.
You know what I mean?
And man, it shouldn't be offensive for somebody to say, take care of your body, like take care of your health, because it's so important. You know, some people are blessed with genetics, and sometimes you can still take advantage of that and still gain weight.
And still,
you still have to be smart about that, because there are skinny people with diabetes. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And there are, you know,
skinny people
with
have
high blood pressure. Yeah,
high blood pressure,
exactly.
things like this.
Heart
you know,
attack, all that.
but you got to think.
You don't have to be a
doing these
vegan though. You don't have to go vegan.
You know what I mean? But it's nice to be nice to the animals. Shout out to all my vegans. You know what I mean?
That's when you do that when you're at like a potluck. They say, "Hey man, you want something to eat?" Oh no, I'm a vegan. Well, we got this vegan dish over here. Nah, I'm a root vegan. I only eat roots.
We got the jackfruit tacos. They look like chitlins to me.
No, I don't like bread. You know, the tacos. You got a skill for everything, man. You know
what I mean? Exactly. Shout out to all my vegans.
Yeah, shout out to vegans. I tried. It's hard,
tell us
man.
about some of the positive experiences you had being a vegan.
How do you maintain being a vegan? That's the tough part, right? Because you think about LeBron James, you think about these rich people, you know, Diddy or something like that. They can afford chefs that make vegan dishes. Yeah. But trying to do that at home on a median income budget, how do you do that?
Yeah, well, share it with us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the comments, tell us a nice vegan recipes that's affordable. or restaurants that you like.
For sure.
What's your favorite vegan dish?
So our next question is, what inspires, or when we was growing up, what inspired the average kid in Southwest? Now I think a lot of parents probably could sleep on it because it probably don't dawn on you while you're parenting because you're trying to, roll through life and kids got to understand your parents are growing up just as well as you are too.
Oh, God.
You know what I'm saying? You're 10 years old, your parent may be, 25, 30, you know what I'm saying? They still growing up too, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of times, you get in the routine of taking your kids to work, letting them go outside and play, but you don't know how they're processing information or what they're seeing. So when you think about what inspires the average kid doesn't see the average working man all the time because they're always at work. Unless you're with them or on the job, just like, in the community we live in, a lot of Latino community, sometimes they take their kids to show them how to, lay concrete or, how to do trades and stuff like that. In the black community, you kind of mostly work in the office in a professional setting. You can't take your kid to work with you. You know what I'm saying? So now your kids out here seeing, and what they're seeing is not people that's in the professional field. Go ahead.
And kids see results. They don't see the work.
Boy.
They see the end.
Boy.
You know what I mean? They see mama driving a Cadillac, daddy driving a Jag. They don't see how they got it.
Right.
They just see, I want that.
Right.
I want this. You know what I mean? I want their respect. You know what I mean? I want that car. I want those clothes. You know what I mean? They just see the results. They don't see the work that's put in.
When I worked.
And then when it's time to work, they want the easiest work, right?
Right.
The easiest way to get that car. Well, if I sell these couple packs, I can get that Jag.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or I can go to school and, do professional training.
Man, when you talk about inspiring, right? When I went to Dunbar, right? And before I went to 10th grade, you used to see it when you was in junior high every now and then. You see dudes ride by with the cars and stuff. You see it on the school bus going home or something. But when I worked at BP and you saw dudes come up close, like you get to, these had to be guys like giving me like a bird's eye view of this stuff, right? Working there, you get to see a dude pull up like gold Dayton's, you know what I'm saying? Dude, that was, man, I was like, man, I want some gold dates, but you hear the stories. Like, these dudes actually talk to you, right? You want to ride gold dates, but you got a pistol. Because.
And you ain't a police officer.
No,
because
because the more attention you bring, them gold dates. Like, one dude told me, he said, I got to go fill up in Pleasant Valley. Because if I try to fill up in University, I might get my head blown off of this car. You know what I'm saying? It's stuff like that most kids don't hear.
They know he got cash on him.
Yeah, most kids don't hear. Yeah, because people see that.
Yeah.
It's like a business card. It's like, you looking like on the menu. It's like you go to McDonald's, you see the Big Mac, you see this. That's how it is when you in when you in the streets. You got the best car. It's like some robbers put you on the menu. You know what I'm saying? You like the Big Mac, the number one.
They know where your mama stay, grandma stay.
Yeah.
Your girlfriend stay.
Yeah.
So,
And another thing, you see them, you don't see the headaches, you don't see the robberies, you don't see people trying to get over on them. You just see them flossing. You just see them flossing, right? You know what I'm saying? You don't see the girls, setting them up. They have to think about that kind of stuff. Is this girl with me, or is she trying to set me up? Or is she just trying to have a kid because I got money? You know what I'm saying? She being transactional right now. What's really going on? You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes when you get involved with people, you have to keep feeding like Seymour, right? You keep feeding them. If not, it's repercussions that come with it. Yeah.
The bigger the appetite, the more you got to feed. And that's habits, right. You know what I mean? Good and bad, too. You know what I mean?
Because most kids don't know about principles. You don't know the path to be a principal. Yeah. You don't know that principals make really good money. When you get there, they make actually really good money. You know what I'm saying? They don't know that, what administration is, like these people that, be on TV and stuff like that. They don't know. Like, we didn't have politicians come and tell us, about what a politician does day to day. Still don't know.
Yeah, and
how much a politician do from day to day.
And how much money they actually make.
Right.
And then kids have they don't have a realistic expectation of money. Like, oh, I'll get a job and then I will get 2 Corvettes. Not like, what kind of job you thinking about getting?
Yeah.
Just because you are going to work every day don't mean you have
can't
a
even
job.
get a 92 Corvette, let alone a 2022 Corvette.
And
a 92 Corvette probably cost you $5,000. And it ain't even fixed up. We just talking about a 92 Corvette.
Yeah.
So you talking about you'll get a 2022 Corvette now when inflation, and inflation and stuff, with interest rate maybe 7-8%, if not more.
You know,
man, it's and
it's like, well, I'm gonna get a job. You know what I mean? Well, I'm gonna be a policeman. You know what I mean? I'm gonna direct traffic. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get like a BMW and like a Corvette.
Yeah.
No.
Good luck.
It don't work like that.
Good luck.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it don't work like that. And then if you get it, can you afford it after you get all that set up? Can you afford it after? Can you afford having a BMW for 10 years with the maintenance, Oil change costs $100, $120, something like that. For an oil change, you know what I'm saying?
Man, that's kind of cheap.
I know my wife's car, it's like, we get brakes. We need to do brakes and rotors. It's about $3,000. No, I'm not giving you $3,000. I can go somewhere else, but I'm not giving you $3,000. Even if I got it, I'm not giving you $3,000. It just don't make sense, you know what I'm saying? And that's the thing, these kids are not inspired by things they don't see. You only see teachers, you only see professional field maybe a few hours a day, if that. But in the streets, you see that all day, because when you get home from school, that's all you see.
And it look like they don't doing nothing either.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They just sitting on the block.
Yeah, when you're an adult and you're out of it, it does. But that's the thing. Most adults live their life too. They just don't. You don't know. They don't say nothing though. Yeah. Some dudes, they'll tell you don't do this. It's like, and the kid be like, "What are you telling me, man? You don't know what I'm going through." And it's like, and then dude would tell them like, "Yeah, I was OG. Like, I didn't know that. Did you tell me that?" But that's the kind of generation we live in now. If you don't,
they see where
if
you
don't show
are,
transparency, they gonna look at you like you coming from a place of being disingenuous. You know what I'm saying?
So you got it all. You know what I mean?
So the last question on this section is we at 39. Okay. How does a person from Southwest overcome the struggle? And what we mean by struggle is, you living in, like you said, low income, environment. There's not a lot of, creativeness. Sometimes the struggle eats away at your potential and your creative mindset, because you're in a survival mode. You know what I'm saying? So overcoming it takes something, or it takes some kind of exposure. You have to really, if you got a family that can really talk you through these things, kind of give you some things to think about. But if you don't have those things, which a lot of kids don't have that, it's one thing to have one kid that don't understand and thinking like that. When you get a group of them together, you know what I'm saying, that's a whole nother situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't teach one kid, a son, how to treat women, and then you get 5 or 10 of them together, what you think gonna happen? They're not gonna come together saying "Kumbaya, let's treat women right." It's not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying?
And they're gonna influence others to their way of thinking.
Right.
When you get in, it's hard to get out of the struggle, because when you get in survival mode, you don't look 2 steps ahead. You don't look 5 steps ahead.
Right.
You just get a job to start helping your mom or your dad out, or your grandma, and helping and putting resources in the house.
Right, exactly.
And you see that little first job and you just work it. You know what I mean? And you make your $5 an hour and you contribute, and that's like what you do. Like, I see people like drop out of high school to make the $5 an hour job so they can help their family.
Right.
Because that's good for right now, and it will help their family with income in the future.
Right.
But like, what about your future? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the way to overcome that struggle is just to do the work. Like, finish high school and try to be better, but you don't really see a future in it. So mentorship and things like that, and just really staying the course.
Yeah, now
getting out of the environment.
With so much information out there now. But before we get into that, when we're talking about this is one thing that I think most dudes dealt with that help their families, right? Mm-hmm. You work, you help your family, your money go towards helping the family, keeping utilities and stuff paid. when we talk about dealing with women, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're young, most girls or women at that age, when you get out of school, they don't understand that a dude is taking care of his family, like he's helping his family. So they'll say they think you're a mama's boy or something like that, or they'll think you're catering to your mom. They don't realize you're helping your family. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I tell any woman that if a dude would not help his mom, what I'm saying, she got to help his family, immediate family. How do you think this dude gonna treat you? You know what I'm saying?
Or his own family.
Yeah,
he gets that
exactly.
family. He leave and take care of himself because that's what he did with his other family. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I understand. At some point, you got to leave and cleave. You know what I mean? You gotta leave. You know what I mean? You can't take care of your mom and spite yourself, right? Or your dad or grandpa, whatever. But you know what I mean? Having some sense of community and being reliable and trying to fix your home unit.
Right.
That's a noble characteristic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like I say, if a dude, even if you get married, if a dude just like cut his mom off or something, or just unless it's like some kind of crazy
toxic
situation.
Yeah,
but you help your mom or you pops out or something like that. And it's like when you get older, you think he's gonna help you. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So moving back into that overcoming the struggle, it's so much information out there now that what like the internet started when we was in high school, pretty much, kind of like where you can actually use it, but it still was AOL. You know what I'm saying? You have to buy them little discs. Oh man!
Do you remember when YouTube started? What it was like? It's
terrible.
It's a plethora of information now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Videos it was just people doing crazy stuff YouTube has really.
But the days of going to work in retail or a big box store, unless you just want to do that, which I'm not gonna knock it, but I'm saying if you want to be able to support you and be able to help others if needed, that's a different kind of money. Like you can't do that working minimum wage or a little bit over minimum wage. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like we get to a point now where just 40 or 50,000 is like, just a little bit over minimum wage. That's just enough. That's the start. That's where you want to start it. You know what I'm saying? Man. And just getting there sometimes is not even the easiest thing.
Like they're not. You know what I mean? $20 an hour is like, man, it still is a kind of struggle, but it's hard to get that.
Yeah.
It's like really like, and if you get it, they're like, man, like you like struck gold, like bro, like do you know how much a car note for a regular car is, like a Charger or, oh God, like a Malibu or something, like you know what I mean? And you want to pay me this wage, and I can't barely afford a Hyundai Sonata,
right? And see, that's another thing too. Overcoming the struggle, you have to change the way you think, and sometimes that's the hardest part, right? Yeah. You get an extra $5,000 from somewhere that it wasn't accounted for, and you like, you know what, I'm gonna live a little bit, and then you go do crazy stuff or buy a bunch of clothes. You don't realize like this a lot. Clothes are a liability. You know what I'm saying? Do we need clothes? Sure, but you don't have to. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like I was telling my wife,
I'm guilty of myself.
Yeah, I told my wife I had to start looking online, like with the suit for $50, right? Instead of getting a tailor-made suit for $1,000. I used to go buy a suit for $50 and go get it tailored.
Yeah.
And probably spend $150 at the most.
Yeah, I mean,
and more on the tailoring than the suit.
And our problem is like taking care of your body make your clothes look better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It does.
You gotta you know what I mean? You a decent looking, put together man. You can get a man. Cheap suit, shirt, cheap, shirt or whatever. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And get your suit tailored.
Boy,
man, you look like somebody. You know what I mean? So.
But yeah, not being afraid to grow, not being afraid to think different than what everybody else is doing. Because sometimes that herd mentality, man, is crazy, right?
Yeah. Look at the results in the herd mentality. Like if the herd's going there and everybody graduating high school and going to college and you can see good results from those fruit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Hey, maybe you kind of stick with the crowd, but then when the crowd start running off the cliff. You know what I mean? Like, hey, maybe I need to take that exit. You know what I mean? So
I got a bonus one, right? We talking about the herd mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Before we close out this section, the herd mentality. Like people think, oh, it's all the youth. The youth got herd mentality. Here's the thing, right? With politics ramping up, right?
Yeah.
I don't care about neither one. I'm apolitical. Care neither one. Don't even care. Here's the thing. People get so caught up in it, but do you really know what a politician does though? Do from day to day.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like people, it's like politics. It's to me. This is my opinion. Politicians go in with the greatest intention. I'm gonna be this. I'm gonna be clean. I'm gonna be wholesome. But then when they go in there, they come out with a head full of gray hair, and they look like 10 years older. Like they aged 10 years, and they only been in office for 4 years. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, what causes that? Like, I would love if we can interview or talk to a politician, like if they would actually be honest and tell us the game. Like, what does a politician do? Like, do you go to work at 9? Or do you not go to work? Do you only go to work a few times a year? Because it seems like they only go to work when they go to the session, right?
Yeah.
But you think, do they do public speaking? Do they get paid for that?
You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? Because you hear a lot of stuff in the streets about politicians, you know, about, you know, the back end, you know, sidewater deals and, you know, think about lobbyists and stuff. Like, why is lobbyists a part of politics? Who knows that?
In a position,
you know what I'm saying? So CNN don't tell you everything about politics. They don't. They only tell you what they want to tell you. Their point of view, you know what I'm saying?
Day in the life, you know what I mean? We're not talking about the good days or the big days. Like a normal day.
A normal day.
Because
it's kind of like, do you know what a doctor do from day to day? You know, like working in IT. You are working in IT. You go to work 9 to 5. You may have a ticketing system. You get a ticket in. Can you help me with this? Yes, I can help you with this. Let me check your account. Oh, I see your error. Let me fix it. Boom, it's fixed. Wash, rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
IT, that's the kind of the life of an IT. Unless you start getting in specialized levels, like me, like doing web development and stuff. Now, instead of helping people, you're doing back end stuff, looking at code, PHP, HTML, all this other stuff. But when we start talking about a politician, I can't answer though. I don't know what a politician does from day to day.
I know what
do they have an office or do they work from home? You know what I'm saying? They do always dress nice. They be clean. I ain't never seen a politician not clean. They always have on a double-breasted suit or something like that, tailor-made suit or whatever. But what do they do from day to day? You know what I'm saying? Like what? How do you pass a law? This is another thing people don't think about, right?
I mean, if you don't know that, there's something, you know, they taught you in civics.
But see, here's the thing: people gotta go in like I'm gonna go in by myself and make changes.
Yeah,
you can't.
And you have the expectation.
Everybody has to vote on your policy to pass. Yeah. So you gotta play nice with everybody, whether you want to or not. Or you've been there for 4 years and nothing happens.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard working at a small place, they kind of deal with politicians a little bit. I've heard of dudes, the only things they can pass was a law about the state bird or something like that. Or, you know, a law about that, something that's meaningless. But they can say they passed a policy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when you start getting into the meat of policies and stuff, how does that get passed? Like, who do you have to rub shoulders with a person you don't like?
Yeah.
Because he voted on this and you don't like that. But in order for you to pass your policy, because he's in with these group of people, you got to rub shoulders with this guy now. Because if you don't, nothing gonna get done. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the kind of stuff about politics that I don't think people really, that they don't really kind of have that insight. I don't know. I don't have the insight, but it's just for me seeing different stuff and kind of putting 2 and 2 together. Like, what I would love to, you know, let us know in the comments what you think politicians do. That's my little bonus thing. Just thinking about that with politics coming up, because you don't even know these people. Like, when you talk about job interviews, their campaign is like an interview to millions of people because they can't talk to everybody one-on-one.
Yeah.
So their campaign is like an interview to you. So, of course, they're going to do the best thing. They'll give you the best interview. That's like selling the dream.
And then who's holding them accountable? They hold me accountable in my job, you know what I mean, on the interview if I can't prove this and that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
here's the thing, right? If you have never been a politician, don't plan to be a politician, but you're beating up the politician, telling them they should have did this, this, and this, do you think they really care about the average person's thoughts and opinions?
The individual voters, they care about the group.
Because once they get in there, it's self-preservation. They got to survive just like you got to survive at work. And just like how, you know, they talk about the janitor ain't cleaning up and doing this, you like, man, I don't care what you talking about. I'm trying to get home, man, do my 8 hours and go home. Politicians the same way. They talking about politicians. They, like the big politicians do inside the trade. Guess what? What would you do if you was on the side of the tracks? You mean to tell me if somebody said, "Hey man, if you invest in this, you put 10,000 here, you'll get 100,000." You wouldn't do that?
And a law is going to pass. You know what I mean?
That's going to benefit you.
That's going to benefit these companies and change trade regulations. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know the law was coming up.
Yeah.
I'm going to invest in the company. You know
Definitely.
what I mean? Because their profits is going to go up 27%.
Yeah.
With this new law that's being passed,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
For sure.
It's going to deregulate something. So
it should be funny when people get mad talking about, politicians doing this and that and all these, tax write-offs. Dude, if you knew that stuff, you'd do the same thing.
I mean, it's a perk of job.
So, but yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. And maybe we talk about other stuff, like not who to vote for, because I don't care who you vote for. You vote for. I'm just talking about the stuff that you don't think about in politics. All right, this is our last section. We're gonna talk about opportunities in the city. Like, what opportunities are present in the city? Now what's the name running these ads, man? Amazon. Dude talk about, hey man, I work at Amazon. I got a 200% raise.
200% another.
But if you making $17 an hour, 200%, maybe 20 now. Man, but yeah, in the inner city though, like it ain't a lot of it's retail stores, big box stores, where you get like lumber and stuff like that. And like say Amazon,
And it's not many, even with, from the kid aspect, you know what I mean? There's not many opportunities to do things at a certain age.
Right. And
boys clubs, you know what I mean? We talked about the drop-off. You know what I mean? As a kid, it's tons of stuff you can do. Little league sports and activities, you know what I mean? When you hit the teenage.
But every kid not into sports though.
But that's where we're kind of talking about the limited opportunities that you have. Because if you got the sports maybe until a certain age. Yeah. But then even after that, there's what opportunities do you have to do anything?
Exactly. Or living in an area where the median income is 40 and below definitely suffocates opportunities because you can't afford them.
And you can't see.
If a kid wanted to start a landscaping business in his community, it probably wouldn't be the greatest because they can't afford the service. It's like a luxury to get your yard cut. Yeah. You can't afford to give somebody $50 to cut your yard. And that's probably lowballing now with inflation. Yeah. With gas and everything, trying to cut grass, you probably got to charge $75 to $100. But who can afford it, man?
As a business owner, as a kid or as a young man or as a man, you can't even service your own community.
Right.
Because the opportunity, and that's what we're talking about, opportunities in the community. Yeah. That's not one. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he tried to think of a solution or a strategy to do to make himself an opportunity. Right. But now he can't even serve his
because it's not feasible because the community can't support it.
He invested. He bought a zero-turn lawnmower, top of the line weed eater, a trailer.
But then they only try to con you, man. Can you do it for $25? Dude, it costs more than $25 to get gas. So in a 5-gallon bucket, it costs more than $25. Yeah. Gas almost $4 a gallon. You know what I'm saying?
So and now he's like, well, maybe he should go outside of this community, but you know what I mean. He don't have the top of the line equipment to compete with other landscapers.
Yeah, because when you think about it in Southwest, you see landscapers riding through here, but you see them going home, coming from other places. Yep. Because when you ride through some of these streets, you don't see a lot of landscape come because you can't afford it. I mean, $50 is a stretch. When you're under 40,000, to give somebody $50, man.
And how often would you be giving them $50?
Yeah, you probably get your yard cut every 2 weeks, depending on how your grass grows.
So that's $100 a month bill.
Yeah.
For some pretty grass.
I mean, some areas you live in, though, I don't know if they do it now, but the city code and all, they used to kind of mess with you. But I think ever since COVID, you don't really get a lot of that no more, I guess, depending on where you live at.
So, I mean, that's just, I mean, like we were just brainstorming, ideas to trying to create our own opportunities.
Yeah, definitely.
And that is really not feasible.
Right, because of
in
the
the inner
income
city,
level.
you know what I mean?
And that's the thing, right? You don't have nothing to do. You got all these kids that have nothing to do, and they just out, walking around or just hanging out hanging out in the streets, pretty much. I mean, what do you expect? Like, it's weird. It's like they talking crazy, kids doing this, doing that, but they don't have the opportunities to keep them away from doing that.
No
What do you
place to
think's
go.
gonna happen?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's not every kid. It's like, it's the outliers. But at the end of the day, it's still nothing for them to do.
But then those kids that are possibly doing good or just there can become victims of the other kids or
They could.
Other
or
adults.
They pick up other vices.
Other adults that don't have lack of opportunity.
Right. Because sometimes, too, a lot of times, let's think about me like working in IT, right? I haven't had somebody come up to me and ask me about, what does it take to work in IT? You know what I'm saying? And you can tell them that some kids, they don't want to do it. It's like they don't think it's a thing that they want to do. Like, you'll tell them that you can work in IT, you make good money, but they're like, nah, I go work at UPS, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, dude, you want to throw boxes all day, even when you don't feel like it, or you want to go sit at a desk and just most of your job's done on the computer.
See, I notice when I'm talking to kids or some adults, they think they're not qualified or they think they can do it. They disqualify themselves.
Yeah, I used to do that. I understand it too.
I think I can throw a box. I know, like, they don't train me, and I already kind of know the concept of what I would be doing at UPS, right?
Right.
Before I get into it. Like, well, going into IT, even though sitting at a desk seems more appealing, but what if I can't do it? What if I don't like it? I don't have any understanding of that going into it. And that, you know what I mean, getting out of the comfort zone.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
No, like, you know what I mean?
Overcoming the struggle, right?
Yeah, I mean, the people set themselves up with that.
Yeah, I get it, because I've been there.
You know what I mean?
I just got to a point where I was like, it got to be a better way, because this ain't it. When I was working at the airport, being a shuttle driver, like, nah, this ain't it, bro. This ain't it. I ain't doing this for the next 5-10 years. It's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? I got to do something. End up happening, so. And that's what I'm telling. Like, when people say that, though, like, I don't know if I'm qualified, dude. You're talking to a person who was working in IT for over 10 years. I can give you the shortcuts. I can give you all kinds of stuff to think about. But if you I can't make you want to do it. That's the thing. Like, that's how I go by. That's I can lead you to water, but I can't make you drink, right? Can't make you do nothing. But if you want to do it, let's explore the opportunities. Just like you explored to work at when you work at UPS, you have to go through a training period.
Yeah.
Just with any other IT job, you got to go through a training period. Well, I can give you the answers before you even get there, though, because I done worked on that level already. So I can give you the answers to that. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't want to do it, I can't make you do it either. You know what I'm saying? Because IT in Little Rock, that's what kids don't realize. In Little Rock, certain fields just not going to get paid in certain fields. But in bigger cities, those certain fields, like working in retail and stuff like that, you may get paid more, but the cost of living is so high. That's why they paying you, you know what I'm saying? Like, I talked to somebody that worked for the state, right? They said that they giving them raises across the board for working there. But when it's time to renew your insurance now, they don't get contributed. They don't get that contribution from their job because they're getting it. So you see how they playing it? The extra money that you getting, you got to spend it right back on your insurance, enrolling in your insurance, bro. And I can tell you right now, if you got over 2 kids and a spouse getting family insurance, you might as well just go ahead and swallow about $600 every 2 weeks before you get the money in your hand, your check.
Yep.
Go ahead and swallow it. But they want all of it. It's directly taken out along with taxes.
Yeah.
So think about that. So our next question is, how does the environment affect the perception of opportunity? that's real. Because sometimes you be in the hood, you like, man, there ain't nothing going on out here.
Yeah.
And some people never get a chance to really leave out of there. You know what I'm saying?
And then you can see the people like, oh, well, you know, he working and maybe I can do what he do. But, you know what I mean? He just, you know, he work for UPS. So that's your goal.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what
like,
you see.
He doing good. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? He's the best of, you know what I mean? He ain't in trouble. He doing this, you know what I mean? He got it kind of going on because that's your perception.
Right.
When everybody is unemployed, the person with a job is the king.
Boy.
And that's your sight. You know what I mean? Like, oh, his job got benefits.
Right.
And that's top tier to you.
Right.
So that's a perception thing.
And see, that's the thing. Like when you go into Walmart or UPS, you see them doing it, having a good time, but you don't realize day to day though, hour to hour, it may not be like that. But you can't see that because you don't work there.
Yep.
Like I said, I worked at a retail store, and it ain't like that every day. Some days you go in there, the first few hours it may suck. The last few hours it may be slow. It seems like you get off at 3:30, it's just 3:22. It's like from 3:22 to 3:30, take 10 hours.
Yeah.
And then right before they try to get off, they trying to get you to go to the back and help the dock,
truck.
yeah, the docking team unload the truck. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, I'm not no docker, man. What are you doing?
Get these roll changers.
Yeah, man. So, and then like I say, when you in you living in the hood, bro. Just be honest. You know, when you like summertime, right? Your parents still got to go to work. You know, it may not be a family vacation because it's not affordable. You know what I'm saying?
What?
You know, family vacation costs money. Just driving somewhere costs money.
What?
You spending $200 just on gas, round trip.
You go over,
You know what I'm saying? We ain't got the hotel room.
You go over your cousin's house, you know, in the trailer park in another state.
Yeah.
That's your vacation. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
low key income too. But
you
it's
go
different.
because that's in North Little Rock.
What?
Then you think about, man, you go over there, you put money. They got to spend more money to feed you because it's another mouth in the house. You know what I'm saying?
You know,
They was cooking for 3, now it's 4. They changed the whole ration. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. And it's to overcome that is pretty. You really got to do your research, and it's a lot of information out there now. Like look at the fields in Little Rock that's paying like most of the jobs in Southwest probably not paying as much. Maybe a few, but not that much, especially for minorities. You know what I'm saying? Most of the jobs when I got out of Southwest are mostly like in downtown area, you know, areas like that. You know
or you know what I mean? And that's like, or the hospitals, you know what I mean? You're trying to get the hospital or the bank, like me.
And
like,
see, a lot of this,
and it wasn't really any factories, you know what I mean, that we have.
There are, we just don't know about
You
them.
know what
Like,
I mean?
yeah, because I got a cousin, he worked for Skippy, like Skippy Peanut Butter Factory. Like, if you don't know that, though, you don't know. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I don't want to work in no factory anyway, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's stuff out there.
opportunities,
But it ain't
that
in
you
Little Rock,
receive,
though.
yeah, you know
Nah,
what
it
I
ain't in
mean?
Southwest. Yeah, I think it's in Bush or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, it's a lot of stuff out there. It's not in your
You can't
vicinity.
see, and you can only perceive what you can see.
Because I said, I don't want to work at a factory, work, 13-hour days and stuff like that, man. Who really wants? Some people like that. I'm just saying, not me.
I mean, you give me 3 13-hour days a week. You know what I mean? I work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
Shit sounds good to me.
Hey, but man, I could work.
Well, not.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, not at not at a factory. I mean, the hours sound good.
But want to do want to do side hustle stuff and just, doing media stuff. It's like, yeah, probably 9 to 5. Like, and then like even when you're working 9 to 5.
With those hours in those days, you would get those X amount of days off. You get 3 days of working that you focus on your regular job, and then 4 days for side hustle or whatever you want to do. 3 days for work, for your money, and then 4 days for your dream.
Yeah, it's just like say where I'm working now. They let me go to school while I'm at work. You know what I'm saying?
So,
like, yeah, I get to go do that.
See,
like,
I mean,
there's
like you
benefits.
split the day.
Like I didn't know that when I was younger. Like if I would have known that when I was younger, that comes like say not knowing like the perception of opportunities.
Exactly.
Like I told my wife, I would have had better sense. I would have got a job at Eula, just being the maintenance, just cleaning bathrooms.
Yeah.
Who cares? You go in there with a spray bottle of bleach and spray it down. And you don't have to touch it. You just get something with a handle and wipe it off.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, especially
And
if
then
you
you
do
go
it
to
every day.
school, like You can take one class a semester. You only gotta take a full load, bro. You know what I'm saying? Be done with it. And that's the next question, right? How can a person create opportunities for themselves from nothing legally? Because you hear that a lot in the hood. I started from nothing.
The thing is, the answer to the question, from nothing, right? So what costs nothing? Nowadays, it's just knowledge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look, research, talk to people. Like, talking is nothing, right? You know what I mean? See somebody who got something you want, even if it's on the internet.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
YouTube, TED Talks,
Yeah.
master classes.
Yeah, that's true.
Trying to get a mentor, volunteering somewhere.
Boy.
You know what I mean? And then you, like, even if you, like, stumbled upon this podcast and you heard a clip and he said, hey, if you work at college, you know what I mean, tuition is greatly discounted or sometimes free.
Right.
That could be, that just small piece of information could be your opportunity.
Right.
Like, man, I can try that. I can get this low-level job that doesn't require any experience, but the benefits of it is I get to go to school for free. You know what I mean? And then you can start. Right. That's the start of a journey and of opportunities. That's one way.
Right.
And that's knowledge.
And this is another thing, right? You have to think about the path that you want to take. Somebody say, I want to start my own business. Okay, that's a very vague statement. And there's nothing wrong with starting your own business. Are you willing to put in the work to start and maintain your own business?
And where do you want to,
right. Exactly.
Like what is step one?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Because when you start your own business, you have to do so many other things than working at a job, right? Mm-hmm. Because, like I say, when we was younger, I didn't think making six figures. What in the world is that? I thought that was like some entertainer kind of stuff. But kids don't realize it's people that live in Little Rock.
Little Rock, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Making
Country
6 figures, no problem.
Annually. Like, just,
annually.
They check. 9 to 5.
Yeah, 9 to 5. No overtime, 9 to 5. No. That's it.
Leave them emails at home. Like, if that email didn't get answered or replied to by 5 on Friday, see you Monday.
But you got to put in that work to get to that point, though. Experience, even in entrepreneurship, to make $100,000 on your own business, unless you got something to generate income passively, which is making income without you having to do a bunch of work, physical, manual labor.
Yeah.
You know
or
what I'm
having
saying?
a really hot product or service.
Yeah,
that's in demand. Like,
it's people that selling stuff on Etsy, bro. They just do stuff on Adobe Illustrator, man. And you just put on Etsy and people buy it, they don't. But guess what? Low overhead. Once you make that one thing and sit it on there. Yep. It's on there, you know what I'm saying? They download the digital. You don't got to do no framing. It's just digital art, bro. It's crazy. So, but man, so much stuff out there now that you can start from nothing, man. It's unreal. Really?
The hard part now is choosing what thing that you want to do or that you want to work for.
And that's what we did here. We started, like, we didn't have all this stuff. We had to build up to getting the camera, had to build up to getting the video switcher, learning how to use green screen. You know what I'm saying? But working in IT, getting that foundation in IT kind of make it easier to pick up on stuff like this because it's kind of in conjunction with IT, you know what I'm saying? So, and you can create opportunities from nothing. You have to be creative.
Growing too,
yeah, you got to be flexible and growing in your thinking, though, you know what I'm saying? So, and pretty much, man, we going to wrap this thing up, man. So, and be smart about your decisions. Think about your outcomes, the chances of, are you increasing success or decreasing success? Are you increasing something crazy or decreasing something crazy?
And everything is connected.
Yeah, everything is connected. You're right.
You know, this decision today is probably going to affect your tomorrow.
Right.
The decision of yesterday probably going to affect tomorrow too.
Yep. And we also want to say hit the like button if you like the podcast, share, subscribe. We're going to put this on Facebook. We want to shout out to our homies from Southwest, right? Reach out, man. Start reaching out, bringing some people on as our schedule allows. And just, chop it up, man. Let the kids know that they can do something positive. You can be from Southwest and be successful. there's opportunities out there, even if you are from Southwest. You just got to be willing to put in the work. And,
Yeah, guys, come on, tell us your story.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. Even the youth, if the youth want to come on here and chop it up with us, let us know. We can do that too, no problem. We just ask, don't come on here cussing up a storm like you Dolomite. You know what I'm saying? Keep it clean. Don't come on here being vulgar. And we good because we want to share this with everybody, not just with youth, but the parents, aunties, uncles. You know what I'm saying? Great grandmas, everybody can watch it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, come on down.
And we also want to go around and talk to kids in schools and stuff like that, and let them know that the quicker you start thinking about your journey to success and making a plan, the better off your future will be. And that's one of the things we're gonna work on. Probably try to get that going in the spring. That's what I'm thinking about, going something like that in the spring, like around January, February time. Work on that. And but yeah, guys, we got a lot of stuff coming down the pipe. So keep tuned in, stay tuned in, and we're signing out.